Hello everyone and welcome to Bourbon Bites Whiskey Reviews with an 80s twist. I'm your host Clifton and welcome to another Thursday night live stream. Tonight we are doing another fun experimental kind of stream. I've done this a few times before but never with this many whiskeys as far as I'm aware. I'm comparing the latest batches of 3 American whiskeys that just came out with the previous batches. So if you saw the thumbnail, you know what we're doing. We have the brand new Remus Repeal Reserve number 8, the one that just came out last month. We have the new Bernheim Barrel Strength Wheat Whiskey, came out last month as well. And we don't quite yet have the brand new batch of Midwinter's Night Dram, but we do have the one that was available at the distillery about a month or so ago when I visited. This is I almost showed the wrong one. This is Act 11. So they just announced Act 12. I don't know if it's actually out yet, but this is the one from last year. So, but the fun twist on this is we will be comparing these to the previous batch of each of these whiskeys. So we have Remus Repeal Batch 8 versus Batch 7. We have Bernheim Barrel Strength B924 versus A224. And we have the Midwinter's Night Dram Act 11. Now, I don't have Act 10 or Act 9, but I do have Act 8. This is the last one I bought a full bottle of. I just opened it today. People say that the Midwinter's Night Drams used to be so much better than the recent batch. I love the recent batch, so I'm about to find out, is it actually that much better? So, should be a fun stream here tonight. Thank you for tuning in live. Thank you for watching the replay. Whatever you're watching or wherever you're watching, hit the thumbs up. It does help the channel out a ton. We are still about 40 subscribers away from 4,000. So if you're not yet subscribed, here's your chance. No alt accounts. I see you, Tony. I see you creating those alt accounts. No, I want to be legit when we hit that number. I want to be for real. And we'll do a bit of a celebration stream. We'll see if we get there before the end of the year. If not, totally cool too. But I want to say hello to a few folks in the chat here today. Tony said the Cliffy stream is coming and he is drinking something. I get the song reference now. From High West to George Remus, this is the life you can't miss. Okay, I didn't do to the beat, but I got it. And there's the alts saying hello. I'll have an espresso martini. That's drink of choice, I guess, but with bourbon. What's up, Zopher? Good to see you. Emily's here as well. Switch devices, hoping YouTube is less mad. Well, hopefully so. Say hello if everything looks and sounds good on your end, Em. Good to see you here. Brandon, what is up, man? Hope you're doing well, my friend. Hope to see you soon. I'm kind of planning like a little weekend before Halloween get together at my place for my local whiskey group and other people in the area. So hopefully get to see you then, if not before. But good to see you, Brandon. Lil, all the way from Kentucky. Lil, so good to see you. Great hanging with you a couple weeks back. Hope you were enjoying. I think y'all are coming up on. You guys still have like another week or two? Because you guys got to go to Bourbon on the Banks, which is like October 3rd, right? I don't know. I'm getting my dates mixed up, but good to see you, Lil. Thanks for stopping in. Yeah, I think more people will probably show up through as we go on. Bourbon Nerd LFTP. I think first time seeing you in the chat. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Hope you are doing well. If I've met you before, good to see you again. If you're new, nice to meet you. Taste and Sensibility. What's up, Doug? Hope you are doing well, too. Tony said, are you saying I should unsubscribe? No, you don't have to unsubscribe. I'm just saying no more. We can only handle so much, Tony. Well, that's what she said. October 5th. There we go. About 2.5 weeks. Okay, well, you guys are still in the midst of it. That's awesome. Chris is driving. Well, stay safe. Brandon says he'll be leaving for Kentucky a week from Monday. Awesome. I bet, man, I'm so jealous. I thought about, I tried to make it work this year. Couldn't quite make it, but gosh, you guys have a great time at Bourbon on the Banks. Tell everyone hello for me. All right, so I don't have anything in my glass. I have not had a bourbon today, so I think I should go ahead and get started with this comparison stream. Like I said, we'll be doing a new batch versus old batch of each of these. Now, when I say old batch, I literally, for many of these, either mean last year or earlier this year. It's kind of a bit of it's a little gimmicky, a little clickbaity, but they are the newest batches versus a previous batch. So should be a lot of fun. What's up, Bradley? Good to see you. Great to see some folks tuning in from our Discord community. If you guys don't know, we do have a Bourbon Bites Whiskey and Gaming Lounge Discord community. I think most of you are already there, but if you are not, please join us. It's totally, you don't have to be a patron. Patrons do get access to some special rooms there, like our after party hangout that happens after every Thursday night live stream, as well as our monthly movie night, which, speaking of which, the lights behind me are pink for a reason. We are watching Pretty in Pink from 1986. Tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. That's what you guys have been voted for on our poll for our 80s movie. I've never seen it. I've seen a lot of movies in that same genre, that same era, but I've never seen this one. So I'm really excited to get a chance to finally watch it with you guys. We do a bit of a watch party. We hang out after and before. We have some popcorn. We have a chat. So it's a ton of fun. If you're interested in that, that's the $5 tier on Patreon. Everyone that and up gets access to our movie night. Just think of it like a $5 movie ticket. You know, I mean, I'd pay $5 to go see a 80s movie with a group of friends. That's all I gotta say. But yeah, so make sure to don't miss that tomorrow night if you are a patron. If you are a patron, you can't figure out how to get in on that, please do let me know. Just shoot me a message. I'm happy to help get you set up on Discord or make sure you have your status and everything. Want to make sure you guys are set up to enjoy the movie nights. Lil says you haven't seen any of the movies. I'm working through it. This is part of the reason I do it, Lil, is I rely on you guys to give me suggestions. We've watched so many on this channel. I actually didn't watch the first Beetlejuice movie until you guys suggested it last year. And I just went to go see Beetlejuice this past weekend. Had a great time. It was a lot of fun. I do feel like the ending felt a little bit rushed, but like the movie in general, really, really enjoyed it. Loved seeing the original cast return, as well as some new faces as well. Really great film. If you haven't seen Beetlejuice, it is in theaters now. Yeah, it's a fun one. It's a fun one to watch. I did only say it twice, but I mean, I did repeat it again. So we'll see. We'll see if he shows up playing his little tiny guitar. Whiskey Dick, what's up, man? Hope you're doing well. You guys go make sure to subscribe to The Whiskey Dick, one of the OG whiskey tubers here on YouTube. Also, check out his channel, Dungeons and Drams. I was previously a player, maybe a future player if we ever actually do it. We've been talking about it for a while. Such a fun community of whiskey and Dungeons and Dragons. He's been posting a lot of videos there lately. He's got a very active Discord community himself. So you guys make sure to go subscribe to Whiskey Dick and Dungeons and Drams. Speaking of other whiskey tubers, we see Whiskey Nose in the chat. What's up, Marty? Cheers to you. Hope you are doing well as well. Thank you for showing up the past couple weeks. It's been a while. So good to see you again. But yeah, great crowd tonight. And again, hello to everyone watching, whether you're subscribed or not. Would love if you guys could come back. I'm here almost every Thursday. Next Thursday, I'm actually not going to be live. I'm going to, in Los Angeles, we have a thing called Whiskey and Barrel Night. There was a giveaway that our good friend Vadim from the Virtual Tasting Society offered to his Facebook group members. I got lucky to win a couple tickets to that. So very, very excited to go to that. I went to it about 3 years ago, like the year after COVID. I think it was a very scaled down event. Had a great time. I'm so excited to go back. But make sure to check out Virtual Tasting Society. They do tastings of spirits from all around the world. They do a lot of Americans. They actually have next week, they have the folks from Dark Arts on. So they have a tasting set dedicated to dark arts. Ton of fun. Check it out, virtualtastingsociety.com, I believe. If not, just Google it. You'll find it. All right, so I got the 2 Remus Repeal Reserves picked, ready to go. We have the brand new one that I just showed you guys. This is the Remus Repeal Reserve 8. I've been seeing a few reviews of it lately. I have not watched any of them on purpose because I don't want to be influenced. This one is actually 101 proof. We are jumping a proof point. I'll get into that a little bit later. But as you can see, there is 9% of a 2007 bourbon in here. Oh, come on. My software had an update and the focus has not been as good. Let's see. Okay, there we go. It focuses and then unfocuses. Oh, well, I'll read it to you if you can't. 9% of it is a 2007 bourbon at the 21% rye mash bill. By the way, I should mention this is from Ross and Squibb Distillery, aka MGP, our favorite Indiana distillery at this point. 24% is 2014 bourbon at 21%. 67% is 2014 bourbon at 36% rye. So these are at least 10-year-old MGP bourbon. I'm very excited. I love older MGP. Especially that their high rye stuff, really, really good to me. So we're getting a bit of their 10-year-old and their 2007. What is that? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 17-year-old bourbon. Wow. So 10 to 17-year-old bourbon went into this bottle. What's up, Donnie? Good to see you, man. Hope you and Diana are doing well. We do have the press release from the newest release. So this one is, like I said, bottled at 101 proof. Between 10 to 17 years, retail $99.99. Now, if you remember last year, the price went up a little bit. I had trouble finding it below 130 last year, but this year it's back down to the $100. Hopefully they kind of realize, okay, maybe it was a little high to put that up for. So it's $100. Let's see. Yeah, that's the mash bill that we just talked a little bit about. It does say we wanted to push the boundaries with this 8th edition by doing several things differently than in the past. We increased the proportion of the high rye recipe bourbon compared to previous editions and returned to non-chill filtration to keep the viscosity and mouthfeel intact. We also blind tasted the final blend at different proofs and found that 101 proof to be the favorite. So, like I said, we're going to do a comparison between this and batch 7, which is the 100 proof. Apparently it's chill filtered. I had no idea that this was a chill filtered bourbon until this point, but we'll compare the non-chill filtered to the chill filtered number 7. But first we got to start with the review of the number 8, the brand new Remus Repeal Reserve Series 8. Let's give it a nose. Again, 10 to 17-year-old bourbons in here. Oh, man. This has always been one of my favorite LEs, I guess I would consider it, of the year. One, it's relatively available. Like, it's not like, just sitting on the shelves in a lot of times, but it's, of the LEs that come out for each distillery, this one being like a once-a-year release, I see it pretty often at retail. So I do commend them on that. Now, of course, they are Indiana, they are MGP, they are Ross and Squibb, they are everywhere. But I will say this is one of the easiest to find limited releases every year. And at $100 for 10 to 17-year-old bourbon, that's really hard to beat. But on the nose, that age just shows. Now, minimum 10 years old. So you're getting some of those really rich oaky notes. Only 9% of it is that 17-year, but that's still a significant chunk of it to potentially impact the nose and the flavor. I know a previous year, which I don't know if it was last year. No, it was the year before last. They put 2% of a very old bourbon in it, and I was a little disappointed. I'm like, 2%? Like, no one's going to taste that. But now we're dealing with 9%. So appreciate them upping the older bourbon in there. Yeah, nose is really dark. It's sweet, but it's like a dark sweetness, like a dark chocolate. Not much caramel, not much vanilla. I mean, vanilla, yeah, but it's like a vanilla latte, like a roasted espresso. Like if you had it's like an espresso bean, but made with a hint of like a vanilla bean as well. Really dark, really rich, smells delicious. Can't wait to give it a try. Thank you all so much for watching. Cheers, let's try Remus Repeal Batch 8. Different flavor profile than I expected, at least on memory. Again, this batch 7 that we're going to go to next is a brand new bottle. I just opened it. So these are both fresh cracks. This has a lot more of a like a peanut brittle kind of note, which is something I normally get not from Indiana. It's something I get from like a Jim Beam kind of product. It's not quite the like roasted peanut kind of note. It's more of just like the sweet, like a peanut brittle. Or in South Carolina, we had pralines. I guess they're technically a New Orleans thing. But yeah, like a really sweet, dense. I mean, really, really dense with flavor. I mean, that's dark. Gotta go for a second sip to kind of really dive into that one. Yeah, it's interesting because like when it first hits your tongue, and especially on the nose, it's dark, it's dry, it's like that older wood, a little bit of leather. Like I said, like a dark chocolate. But on the palate, it sweetens up a little bit. Definitely, there's like a hint of like a fruitiness, like a chocolate covered cherry. It's not like too much of that syrupy cherry. It's definitely not like a artificial kind of cherry flavor. I get that on some whiskeys, it has a bit of an artificial note to it. This doesn't have it. It's definitely more natural. Like I said, maybe a little syrupy, like kind of like the syrup inside like a chocolate covered cherry, but like a good one, not the cheap ones, the really good ones. That's interesting. 101 proof. I think the finish is medium to long. It's not super long, but not super short. Really elevated mouthfeel. I think that's kind of what they said that they were going for with this one, especially with the non-chill filtered aspect of it versus the chill filtered apparently from the previous batches. This one lingers on the palate. I mean, I can let it sit on my tongue for quite a while. It doesn't burn up front, even though it's 101 proof, being the first bourbon I've had today. Maybe mid to back palate, it gets a little tingly, a little spicy, but up front, that is so oily. Like the oil just coats your tongue. Really, really easy to drink. Very approachable. Very delicious. I mean, like I said, these are one of my favorites because they're accessible, they're a good price, and they're old bourbon. That's really hard to come by. I gotta say, this batch 18 of Remus Repeal Reserve gets a win in my book. My rating system, I usually do it winner or loser. There's very few losers on the channel. There's some like not quite winners, but this one, I recommend giving this a try, especially if you felt like you want to see what like the older bourbon can express itself as, because again, some of these other ones haven't had quite as old bourbon in it. And this one we're about to go to, you'll see a little bit, it's a little bit younger, honestly, pretty close in age, but I'm really curious to see the comparison between the batch 8 and the batch 7. But I do really like batch 8. Really, really nice mouthfeel. I mean, if I see another bottle of this at $100, I will definitely pick it up. Just really, really great blend. They really know what they're doing over there at Ross and Squibb. And yeah, this one's a winner in my book. So curious to, I'm getting caught up in the chat a little bit. You guys are talking about Barry from RD1. Yeah, I hung out with him very recently here in LA. Donnie was late, was watching Thursday Night Football. Lost track of time. Well, I guess I should say thank you for watching. It gets our numbers up. But yeah, it's all good. I probably shouldn't be going live during Thursday Night Football. I feel like that's a conflict of interest, but whatever. Brandon says the cheapest he's seen of a Remus release is $120 in SoCal. So Brandon, the last one, the batch 7, that was the retail on it. So that's what it was. I saw it a little bit higher in places too. That was the first one that they did at that higher MSRP. Lately, they've offered it at the $100 price point. I even saw K&L put some of these on clearance. That's how I got a second one of the batch 7. Put it on clearance for like $80. So that's how I got my second one. So keep an eye out. K&L usually puts good prices on it as well. Brad says next Wednesday, the 25th, Jack Daniels is releasing a Coy Hill at 8 a.m. Oh, well, good luck if you were going for that. I'm sure it's amazing, but sounds good. All right, so let's do a comparison now that we've had the 8th batch of Remus Repeal Reserve. Let's compare it to batch number 7. This is the 2023 release. I'll show you the bottle right here. Now this one, I feel like I have memories of it not being my favorite, but I didn't want to go back and rewatch my review. I want this to be an honest, direct comparison. If I could get that to focus. Oh my gosh. I told you the software updated, like my autofocus got weird. All right, I'll read it if it doesn't focus. Oh gosh, this is heavy. All right, I'll read it. So it is 6% of a 2007 bourbon, and if you do the math, that is a 16-year-old bourbon, but it's 6% of it. Just keep that in mind. It is 26% of a 2013 bourbon, which is a 10-year, 21% of a 2014 bourbon, which is a 9-year, and then it also has another 26 and 21 of a 10-year and 9-year, just the 36% mash bill. So let me see if it'll focus one last time, just in case you guys want to screenshot it. If not, just Google it. It'll pop up. This is batch number 7 of Remus Repeal Reserve. There we go. It's really heavy. I'm not gonna hold it up much longer. And you'll notice this one's 100 proof. So we're dropping back down to 100 proof, which is what it's been, except this release. Although I think I had the first release. I think the first release was 101, if I remember correctly, or was it cast strength? I swear that first release was a different proof. It might have been 101. I've had it. Just can't quite remember. All right, let me do a little bit of a palate cleanse, and then we'll try batch 7. What's up, Mr. Whiskey Shits? Good to see you, man. Hope you are doing well. All right, batch 7. Oh, on the nose, very different. Okay, so let me get the batch 8 here. Yeah, batch 8 is dark. It's like dark chocolate, deep. I mean, there's a little bit of vanilla, but it's like a really rich vanilla. The 7, a lot lighter, a lot brighter. It does have that cherry note, that chocolate-covered cherry. A little bit more of a milk chocolate on the nose for the 7. So it's definitely sweeter on the nose. If you like a sweeter palate, this might be the better one for you, just based on nose alone. We'll see how it is on the palate, though. Yeah, a little bit of oak. The oak is not reading as dark and rich as the 8. It's definitely reading more of like I don't want to say younger, but it's definitely not that like super saturated oak that I love about a lot of Jim Beam products. All right, let's go for a try of batch 7 and see how it compares. Yeah, I mean, I said this earlier. When I had this last year, it was the first Remus Repeal Reserve I've had in a while that just didn't quite blow my mind. And I almost feel like it's kind of giving the same vibe. It's still very, very good. I mean, it drinks. I will say, so I said the finish on the 8 was a medium to long. This is a short to medium. It's not a very long finish. Mid palate is very good. It does give you some of those tingles that I had on the 8, but this one goes away so quickly. It doesn't linger on the tongue at all like the batch 8 does. And maybe I'm being misled by the marketing, but like this is chill filtered. The batch 8 is not. Is that really making that much of a difference? I don't know, but I will say this one doesn't quite linger around as long. It's a good flavor. It's everything I love about Ross and Squibb bourbon, Indiana bourbon. It just doesn't have the richness or the age, at least not the detectable age, as the new batch has. This one tastes a little bit younger. You can get more of those 9-year-old notes. Nothing wrong with that, but you can tell it's a little bit younger, a little bit brighter wood. Still that cherry, a little bit more into the, I don't want to say fake cherry, but a little bit into the, I mean, I kind of, that sounds bad, but it's like, so I did say that the first one was like a cherry syrup, like a chocolate covered cherry. But like, if you get a really nice high quality chocolate covered cherry, it's a really rich, like I'm talking about like maraschino level, like thick, rich syrup. Whereas the 7, it's more of that lighter, the fruitier, the like, you get your little Valentine's Day gift box as a kid and it has the chocolate covered cherries in it. It's a little bit in that flavor profile. Again, nothing wrong with it. I like them both. But if I had to compare, again, I have no bias here. I don't care which one's better. And that's the case with all these. Just FYI, I should have said this at the top of the stream. I don't have bias because like I have no favorites. Like these are all like I've never compared them side by side. So I'm very excited to do it. I don't have any bias towards like, oh well, I like last year's batch. I don't. I really don't. But I will say this year's Remus Repeal 8. If you like that older, richer, darker, deeper notes, go for that one. That is a big, big thumbs up from me. The 7, with it being a little bit higher price, I said this last year. It's good. Give it a try. It's not going to break the bank, but if you see 8 versus 7, I'd say pick the 8. That's my opinion. This with shit says, I want that batch 8. Well, this is just a media sample. I just received it earlier this week. The press release is from August 12th, so this just hit the market in the past month. So hopefully it's available. That's kind of what I was saying at the beginning. I feel like these Remus Repeal Reserves are relatively available, at least here in Southern California. Not like they're like just sitting on the shelves, but like they pop up here and there. So I will keep an eye out for it. T. Rob says, cheers from South Carolina. Well, cheers to you, T. Rob, my home state. Love me a good fellow Carolinian, Kakalakian, or whatever we want to call each other. Cheers, man. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for stopping in. Mr. Jigs is here as well. Wow, great turnout tonight. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We still got 4 more whiskeys to drink. 2 of these are going to be direct comparisons to each other, so that's going to be a lot of fun. So, hopefully you guys are ready for it. Tony says, older, richer, darker, deeper. What I'm looking for on OkCupid. Okay, deep. Older, richer, darker, yes. Deeper, that could mean it's a deeper connection. You're looking for a deeper connection. I feel you there, Tony. Absolutely what you meant. All right, next up, the new Bernheim Barrels Proof Kentucky Straight Wheat Whiskey from Heaven Hill. Y'all know Heaven Hill is one of my favorite distilleries. This is their barrel proof wheat whiskey. This is the new batch that just came out. This is B924, coming at 122.6 proof, 61.3% ABV. Have not tried this. This is going to be a fresh crack here. Wasn't very satisfying, but it's a plastic bottle. I mean, it's a glass bottle with a plastic cap, so let's get that poured. This is the newest one. I do have a press release over here I'm going to grab in just a second. And I'm comparing it directly with the batch from earlier this year. This is the batch sorry if that was loud. That hit my microphone. This is the batch A224, 125.2 proof, 62.6% ABV. So a little bit higher proof on the A batch. We'll see. I imagine like specs wise, like in terms of age, they're all probably the same. They usually are. They don't really differ too much on that, but I do have the latest press release for that one. So let me just like scooch over here, go over to my little workstation. You can see my movie collection behind me. By the way, if you guys ever want to see a tour of my movie collection, let me know. I mean, I also have a whiskey collection, but like, you guys never see the movies because I'm always in the way. All right, so here's the press release from Heaven Hill for this one. So they said, this is the 4th barrel-proof edition of Heaven Hill's Bernheim barrel-proof Kentucky Straight Wheat Whiskey. It is a nationally allocated product, which is released in batches twice a year. So that's why you'll notice this is the B batch, but it's 9 versus like Elijah Craig, where that's usually the C batch. The mash bill is 51% wheat, 37% corn, and 12% malted barley. Same mash bill as their standard Bernheim wheat whiskey. This is pulled straight from the barrel, and it's in undiluted form. I guess that usually means the same thing. Aged between 7 to 9 years. Now, am I misremembering that I thought it was 6 to 8 years? Maybe I'm thinking of the Larceny barrel proof. Usually that's 6 to 8 years, but maybe they went up in age. I don't know. 7 to 9 years old. Bottled at 122.6% ABV. So the suggested retail on this is $66.99. So very approachable barrel proof price point. So yeah, I had the A batch earlier this year. Honestly, I try so much whiskey, I don't remember at all what I thought of it. So I purposely do not go back and rewatch my old streams to see what I thought of things, because I know that everyone's palate changes every day. Depends on what we ate, depends on how we're feeling. I didn't want to be influenced by what I said in the past, because I could have a completely different experience today. That's one of the caveats of being like a whiskey reviewer, is like, you try something on a different day, you have a different opinion on it. Like, usually I like to say my opinions stay relatively in the same world. Like sometimes I might like something a little bit more another day, but there's things I like and there's things I don't like. So hopefully it's somewhat consistent here on the channel. But yeah, so we're going to try the B batch first, the new one, and then we're going to compare it to the A batch, which I see some people are fans of. I see Mr. Whiskey Shits is a fan of the Bernheim A224. So we'll do a little comparison when we get back to that. Chris says back at the house and out of the car. So G, Cliffy. I assume that's hi, Cliffy and all. What's up, Chris? Thank you so much for stopping in and driving safely. All right, B924. Like I said, 122.6% or 122.6 proof. Let's go ahead and give this a nose. Now, wheat whiskeys, I've said this before on the channel, they're not my favorite. I'll be honest, I love a rye bourbon. I like a bourbon that has that rye character in it. I do like some wheated bourbons that are like, wheat mash bills, like Maker's Mark Cask Strength. I like Larceny Barrel Proof for the most part. Wheated bourbons I've had some difficulty with, but let's see. Let's give this one a nose. See, part of the reason is I'm very big on nosing whiskeys. I want that to be part of the experience. And I've always felt like wheat whiskeys are such a light nose that you really have to dive deep to try to find specific notes to allocate to the nose. Now, flavor, they do have a lot of flavor. But I associate the nose with, half of the experience. Maybe not half, but at least 30% of the experience is nosing. It's got a little bit of a cereal. It's like almost like if it's like Cheerios, but not the honey nut Cheerios, like not the sweeter ones. It's like an unfrosted Cheerio. Yeah, I mean, the alcohol is really present. I mean, we're jumping up from 101 to 122 proof, so that's making a big impact on my nosing. I'm gonna have to go for a taste because, like I said, wheat whiskey just doesn't typically. I don't typically love a nose on a wheat whiskey. Let's give it a taste. Cheers! Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Oh, that's interesting. That's not the flavor I expected at all. I'm very confused. I don't want to say it out loud. Let me rinse my palate and try that again. That was not what I expected it to taste like at all. Proof-wise, it drinks the proof, which is, honestly, wheat whiskeys usually drink underproof, so this drinks the proof. I don't want to have an opinion until I taste it again. That is such a weird how do I describe that? Menthol? I mean, that's something that I've never gotten on a wheat whiskey. So I will say when it first hits the palate, typical, exactly what I expect of a wheat whiskey. Very, I don't want to say smooth, but smooth. No like spiky flavors. But when this hits the mid to back palate and you swallow, there's a bit of a menthol there. Like almost as if you just brushed your teeth and you're drinking whiskey. And I guarantee you I did not just brush my teeth. The only time I've gotten something similar to that is like on some ryes. Some ryes will give me that note, like a little bit of that minty note, which we talk about a lot, but not so much on the finish. Usually that's at the front. This is on the finish. Whoa, that is crazy. I almost want to read the press release to see if they say anything about that. Up front, it's expected, but it's like a wintergreen, or like I say wintergreen because it reminds me of like a Christmassy kind of pepperminty spice, maybe peppermint, like a cotton or candy cane. Dry. It's still dry. Wow, never experienced anything like that, especially on a wheat whiskey. Let's see if let's cheat a little. Let's see if they have tasting notes here. Oh, they don't. Oh no. Oh, I have nothing to compare it to. Like I said, I didn't watch any reviews of this one. Newports. I don't know. I don't smoke cigarettes. I'll occasionally do cigars, but no. I mean, it's like not like a like spicy minty, but just like a very mellow, like back of the throat kind of minty. It's what I would imagine smoking a menthol cigarette would be like. Again, I've never smoked a cigarette in my life. Like, not to brag, like I just smoking's not really ever been for me. But it's like what I imagine that menthol in the back of the throat feels like. Whoa, that's crazy. Okay, I'll stop like freaking out. Let's try the A batch. This is still the B. Let me get one more sip of it. Never had that experience on the back end. Maybe, I mean, I gotta watch some other reviews. You guys go watch other reviews or go like find other reviews online. Come back to this video. Please let me know if other people get that too. Maybe it's just my bottle. I mean, it is a media sample, right? Maybe someone was brushing their teeth while they poured this media sample. I don't know. That is so interesting. Something I've never experienced before. Wow. Crazy. Mint and no rye. Exactly. It's really weird. I don't dislike it. I like it. I hesitate to say that this is the flavor profile of this one because this is just a media sample. I don't want to give that impression unless you guys have seen that in multiple reviews. If you've seen that in multiple reviews, then it's a thing. It's real. I like it. It's different. Very, very different. I don't know if it's a note that I like would go out of my way to find again, but it's definitely something I've never experienced before. All right, let's move on to the A. This is just the previous batch earlier this year, A224. Come on, please. Yeah. Proof 125.2, 62.6% ABV. So this is the one I've had before. I definitely did not get some weird experience like that on it last time. Let's see if I can get a nose on it. That one like messed me up, so I'm trying to like recalibrate. Okay. More of a nose on A. It's like a dry... It's almost like a croissant, but like without the butter, if that makes sense. Like a dry pastry. Maybe like a biscuit, or I guess if you're in the South, like a, a biscuit, but no butter. A biscuit lacking in butter, which doesn't sound appetizing at all. I prefer my biscuits well buttered. Yeah, the nose on A is better. Now, full transparency, this has been open for a few months now. I haven't revisited it very often. I think I poured some samples of it when I first got it, but yeah, definitely more coming out of the glass on the nose on this one. Elbow for recalibration. Yeah, I purposely bought some unscented hand soap for one of our bathrooms because a lot of times before I go live, like I go use the bathroom because I'm like, oh, I don't have to pee during my stream. But I always am like, I don't want to use hand soap that has a scent on it that's gonna like change my opinion of what I'm doing. So I use the unscented soap this time. So that's why this is my recalibration zone. Really great nose. I prefer the nose on the A batch. Let's see how I enjoy the palate. Now this one's a little bit higher proof, 125.2. Let's try it. Yeah, totally normal experience. None of that weird menthol-y stuff. This is nice, actually. I like this. This is what I expect Bernheim to be, but it's a good example of it. Probably one of the better examples of it I've had. This is actually, I think I said this during the stream. This is a contender for my top whiskeys of the year. The A224. I saw that Mr. Whiskey Shits liked it as well. I'm a fan. It's actually one of the better Bernheims I've had. It's got character. It's, it is that grain, that wheat grain. It doesn't have the spice or the mint of the wheat or the rye at all. But yeah, I mean, it's a very like, I don't want to say down home kind of flavor. That's weird, but like, it's not overly complex. Very grain forward. Not sweet like corn though. That wheat really does show up. It's like, I hate to say barnyard note because people have different meanings for that. For me, when I say barnyard note, I don't mean like horse shit. I mean like hay, like dried out hay. My sister used to have horses, so like when I think of a barnyard, I think of like a literal barn, like that dry hay kind of smell. Yeah, I like it. Yeah. Lil said hit that thumbs up button. Yes, thank you. If you guys are enjoying the stream, make sure to hit the thumbs up. I can't see how many we got, but I imagine the number's really low. So come on, we got 20 people watching live. Hit the thumbs up. Mr. Whiskey Shit says B batch sounds like a tainted sample. That's why I'm putting that disclaimer out there. If other people get the same note, then maybe it is a thing. To me, something tastes a little off on this sample. If I might read some reviews, and if no one else mentions that note, I might reach out to Heaven Hill and just ask if they have like another one, because it's definitely different. It's very, very different. The A batch is exactly what I expected it to be. The B's a little strange. Not that it's bad, but if I had a preference, it's definitely the A batch. And thank you, Donnie, for dropping the links. Reminder, like I said, we are doing our monthly movie night screening tomorrow night. We are watching Pretty in Pink, hence the background. Patreon.com/bourbonbites. If you guys want to get in on it, everyone $5 and up gets access. Basically a $5 movie ticket. I mean, how much cheaper? You cannot go to the movies for $5. And you make your popcorn at home. So you don't even got to pay popcorn. All right, we got 2 more whiskeys to drink tonight before we wrap up. Hopefully you guys have a good time. Let me know what you know what I send. I forgot to ask what you guys are drinking. Let me know in the chat what you guys are sipping on, or if you're watching the replay, let me know what you are drinking in the comments below. That's all right. I usually ask that, but I think I realized I had 6 different whiskeys to drink tonight, and I think I jumped right into it because I was like, I gotta make sure I get through them in time. So let me know what you guys are drinking, and then we're gonna move on to the Midwinter's Night Drams. So Midwinter Nights Dram. I always say Midwinter's Night Dram, but it's Midwinter Nights Dram. So story behind the one that I just got. This is the Act 11. Like I said, this is not. They just announced Act 12 like a week or 2 ago. This is the one that was available at the distillery as of August. I visited last month. I did it. They have a brand new tour. It's called the Rendezvous Rye Tour. It's named after their whiskey. It's their higher end tour. It's like $75. You get to taste through unaged rye, double rye, Rendezvous rye, and you get a chance to try Midwinter's Night Dram. Loved it. I had to buy a bottle. I'd never been to their distillery. It was the first time there. I was in Salt Lake City, hung out with Adriana, Whiskey Mountains, of course, her and Nick. But yeah, I did the tour. It was really cool because I had never done a tour or a whiskey distillery focused so much on rye whiskey. Typically in Kentucky, they're focused on bourbon. So you're used to the bourbon story, like the 51% corn, but to hear it from the rye perspective was really interesting. So do recommend that if you're in the Utah area. Worth the trek out to their distillery, beautiful grounds. But yeah, I had a chance to buy the Act 11, which was last year's one. So I'm gonna go ahead and pour that one. I actually didn't realize I hadn't reviewed it on this channel yet, but I'm gonna review it for you guys. I have brought it to several bottle shares. I brought it with me to Vegas or Memphis. I forget which one I brought it to, or both, maybe both. But so if you're not familiar with Midwinter's Night Dram, it is a rye whiskey. It is from High West. Now, this is actually a blend of their own distillate and MGP/Rawson Squib. So they do source some rye whiskey from them. They do a blend. And this is finished in port wine barrels. So this is typically seen as a fall, a holiday, Thanksgiving, Christmas kind of whiskey. I've always seen it that way. But you know what? I'm not afraid to drink it earlier in the year because sometimes you just need those feels, right? You need those warm, cozy feelings, even if it's the middle of the summer and it's hot as F outside. Sometimes you just need like to snuggle up and like snuggle up with a good whiskey. Maybe a good book, a good podcast, a good movie. But like this whiskey is definitely in those comforting kind of realm of, I mean, you do you. Drink it, shoot it out of a freaking keg, or shoot it out of a shot glass, or what do people do with whiskey these days? Pickleback, and shoot it with a pickleback. Do whatever you want to do, but for me, this is really it's just comforting whiskey. T-Rob said he just poured the Remus 6. Oh no, 7. Sorry. Awesome, T-Rob. Let me know what you think of that one. I liked it. I just think that batch 8 is a little bit better. So if you like 7, check out 8. Doug said he had the Larceny Barrel Proof B524. Nice. You know what? Larceny did not send me their B batch of Larceny. Oh, is that a lie? That might be a lie. They sent me a package recently, and it was just the redesigned bottle of their regular small batch. That might have been for instead of the C batch. I don't know. I may not get all Larcenys this year unless I seek them out. But let me know how that one is. I can't remember if I have that one or not. If I do, it's a sample bottle. Santiago, welcome. Tonight it's Larceny A224. Oh, wow. You got an older batch there. Nice. I like how you're drinking in the realm of weeded bourbons. Love it. Lil says we drank some Lawrenceburg whiskey. It's been rebranded to Larrikin whiskey. Aussie now. Then we went and ate some Goodfellas pizza and some R&D cocktails. R&D. Research and development cocktails? Or is R&D the brand? I'm not even sure. Mr. Whiskey Shits is sipping Maker's Mark the Heart? Wait, no, there's like these new Maker's Marks out. I've not seen them locally. Is it the Heart? Or I'm just reading your emoji wrong. I know what you're talking about. You're talking about the Maker's Mark the chest? What's it called? You'll correct me. It might actually be the Heart. I don't know. Brandon said, "Don't finish that bottle. You want to try it? Oh, don't worry, Brandon. I might got another one somewhere. I did not bring it to Vegas, or if you did, I didn't get to try it. I'm sorry, Lil. I brought my bottles to y'all's room the first night, and then I forgot it in my room. You guys gonna come in my room, partied as well. Oh, it is the Heart. Okay, that's what I thought. I was like, maybe I'm going crazy, but yeah, I don't know any of the details about that. I love Maker's Mark. I love Castro at Maker's Mark. I would be a huge fan of it. I just have not seen it locally. All right. Midwinter's Night Dram, Act 11, Scene 1 from last year. I don't know any other info on it beyond that. And they do have their mash bills on their website. If you want to go look it up, check it out. But I just know it is a, like I said, blend of straight rye whiskeys with a port cask finish. Let's give it a try. That is okay. This is checking a lot of boxes for me. Let me explain. First of all, I've said this several times on this channel. If you've been following for a while, you know. I think rye whiskey compared to bourbon is the better whiskey to be finished. I think it takes on some of those flavors from a finishing barrel way more than a bourbon does, and in a better way. So when you're combining port, which is one of my favorite sherries, I mean, port and PX sherry are my favorite finishing cask on some peated scotches and some ryes. When you put a port cask with a rye whiskey, that just is magic. It's literally holidays in a glass. This is the first one I bought since this batch 8, which by the way, the batch 8 that I'm going to try next is a brand new crack. Brand new bottle. Not new bottle, but fresh crack. So it's going to be as it was, the 8, what would that have been? That would have been 2022, 21? 21 or 20. We'll see. I don't know if there was any delays or anything, but this still, I had a sip of it at the distillery, and I'm like, I have to buy a bottle of this. This is just, it's too good to pass up. And the distillery was only $125, so it was like less than retail here in Southern California. Like of course I'm gonna buy a bottle. I actually bought 2 bottles. Yeah, really. I mean, it just combines everything I love. Rye whiskey, a cask strength, or not cask strength. Sorry, I apologize. 49.3% ABV, right around 100 proof, but still not like low proof rye whiskey. Now this is a cask strength. Ooh, that'd be fun to try. Ooh. I gotta get another sip before I go into the Act 8 to compare. Up front is that rye bread spice, or like rye bread, very reminiscent of that flavor. But mid palate, it hits you with like a bit of that sweetness from the port. It almost reaches like a cranberry. Like maybe this is why this one always gives me Thanksgiving. You know, like there's some sandwich shops like or delis that do like a Thanksgiving sandwich where it's got like turkey on it, got some stuffing, got some cranberry. I know there's a place called Earl of Sandwich. There's one in Vegas and one here in LA, or probably a couple here in LA. They do like a cranberry like Thanksgiving feast sandwich. I think like a lot of people, or just you do leftovers on Thanksgiving, right? And you have your leftover sandwiches. This is in that vein. It's like that rye bread, the very bready note, but it's like saturated with like a sweet tart, not sweet tart, sweet and tart cranberry kind of like, I don't want to say raspberry. Maybe it's not quite that tart. It's more of like the sweet and tart note that really complements, and it really makes you think this is a holiday fall whiskey. I hate to keep putting it in that box, but that really it is. That it really is that. Mm, man, yeah, all day, every day. Drinks. I mean, yes, I would love it at cast strength. No, I wouldn't pay more than one. I mean, I think retail on it's like 150. I paid 120, and I thought that was a fair price. 150 is probably the most I'd pay for it. I wouldn't pay secondary for it. I think it's well worth the price it is, and then anything beyond that, that's on you if you want to do that. Chris said we did an Aussie Starward whiskey tasting with the Lexington Bourbon Society last night. Luckily for everyone, we had their owner come in and Zoom to save everyone from me doing tasting notes. Brandon says we can do a maker stream next time. I would love, yes. I love Maker's Mark, Brandon. I don't think we've done a maker stream together. That could be really fun. Let's chat. Would love to make that happen. Brandon's having it. Perry from This Is My Bourbon Podcast says Clifton is talking about his box. What's up, y'all? What did I say? I probably did say. I think I just said the word box recently too. I don't know. What's up, Perry? Good to see you in the chat. Hope you're doing well. Sorry I missed your stream. I was at work. I had to stay late today, so. Yeah, and you guys congratulate, or not congratulate, but send your best wishes towards Perry and his wife. They are expecting a new little one very, very soon. I think the due date is within the next week or so. So wish Perry and Lucy all the best, and we are so excited to meet the next baby bear, baby Ritter. There we go. Cheers, Perry. Emily says it's always a good time for port. Love you, Cliffy, but port is not sherry. Different process. You are very correct. I stand corrected. I did say that port is one of my favorite types of sherry. I meant in terms of red wine cask finishes. That's why I tried to hide it, Emily. You caught me. That's why I clicked. It was like, oh, I love port and PX sherry. I get it. Port is a Portugal style, but it's similar vein to sherry, but it's like a Portugal style. Only can be made in Portland. You got me, Em. You always do. She needs to moderate me. She needs to kick me from the stream when I'm wrong. Perry says, cheers, gang. Unless things change in the next 72 hours, or head to the hospital on Monday for the C-section. Getting nervous, honestly. Perry, you guys got this. We are all, you're in all of our thoughts. Let us know if you need anything. I mean, I'm in California, so I can't really get you anything too fast, but you are all, yeah. Cheers to you, Perry. Cheers to Eden. Cheers to Lucy, the whole fam. I'm so excited for you guys. Big Vic is here in the house. What's up, Big Vic? Good to see you again, my friend. I nailed something. I'll be in the hangout after tonight's stream. Oh, shit. Okay, yeah, well, even more of a reason for you guys to join our after party hangout, which, if you guys don't know, it is what we do after every Thursday night live stream here on Bourbon Bites. Everyone $10 and up on Patreon. That's the Bourbon Megabytes tier. You get access to our after party hangout. We go hang out on Discord, video chat, audio chat, whatever you want. But yeah, one, you're supporting the channel through Patreon. As little as $2 a month, you can support the channel. But like I said earlier, $5 gets you movie night, $10 gets you the after party hangout. So if you guys are interested and you've signed up tonight, please shoot me a message. I want to make sure you guys get in. Perry's going to be there, special freaking guest. But very, very cool. Chris said Barry's going to be in LA. Is it Whiskey and Barrel night, Chris? If it's Whiskey Barrel Night, I'll be there too. That's good to know. Let's chat, Chris. All right. One more whiskey. I'm gonna forget if I don't do this. We got one more to go through tonight. All right. Midwinter's Night Dram, Act 8, Scene 1. This is from several years ago. I don't know the actual year it was released. I would guess 21, honestly. I could Google it, I guess. Someone with faster fingers than me wants to Google when Act 8 came from. Hi, West. Someone let me know when Act 8 came out. But yeah, this is the same deal. It's just probably has a little bit more MGP in it than their own distillate. Oh, that was a really good cork pop. I hope you guys heard that. Although someone told me they used some Barton at one point. Because Barton did the rye for E.H. Taylor. I feel like I recall someone saying that Barton did some of these earlier Rendezvous ryes. Oh, that's a fun fact that I learned that maybe you guys already know. Midwinter's Night Dram, the ryes they use in it is their Rendezvous rye blend. So they blend the ryes in advance for Rendezvous rye. They blend the Indiana rye with their own rye distillate, and that's the Rendezvous rye blend for that year. Then they finish that same blend in the Midwinter's Night Dram. So that's why it's different every year. Sometimes it's whatever the blend the previous year was. Thank you, Brandon. I was stalling for time a little bit. 2020. So this is a 2020 release. Wow. And we know 2020 was a rough year in the world of whiskey, in the freaking world. Let's just say that. So this is probably, my guess is more MGP than their own distillate. But let's go and give it a nose. Let's see. Ooh, that's different. But in a good way. Ooh, okay, hold on. I like that. I like that a lot. That's very different. Hold on. So, the Act 11, last year's batch, that rye is front and forward. It's almost like a more of a okay, why would I say the rye? Because it's all rye. Their rye is front and center. It's less of the typical Indiana rye, which I love. I've said before on the channel before, I really love Indiana rye. The batch 11 or Act 11, less of that on the nose. It's there, but it's like up front you get more of the grain quality of like a craft rye. This one though, this one is minty to the extreme. A little bit of like, this is going to be a weird note, and you might like it or you might not like it. Wet paint. I don't want to say nail polish. It's not quite that. Am I the weirdo that likes the smell of paint? That probably explains a lot, actually. But like, it has like a bit of like a savory, maybe that's just how the port is expressing on this one. It's like a savory, dark note. Less of the bright cranberry that I was getting on the new one. This one's dark. Even darker than like a fig or... Oh, man. I'm going to go for a taste. That's so hard to get on the nose. It kind of confuses me on the nose. Let's go for a taste. All right, cheers to the last whiskey tonight. Let's give it a try. Oh, I see what's happening. That port on the Act 8, the port is the dominant flavor. I mean, that surrounds your palate. It's almost like drinking a wine. I mean, color-wise, it's pretty dark. Not too dark, but you can kind of see there's some color on that one. Wow, that port flavor really dominates that whiskey. And I feel like maybe that was the goal. Maybe they were trying to hide some of the imperfections of some of their younger distillate they were making themselves back in 2020. Or maybe hiding the fact that they were sourcing from Indiana. I mean, I would never in a million years be able to tell you that that's a rye whiskey. I know it's a whiskey. Like I said, it's a lot of port, like a port wine. It drinks like a whiskey, but none of the identifying rye notes are there. It's just like it's like you took a new. This sounds wrong. I'm not gonna say it like that. The grains aren't contributing to the flavor. So I was gonna say it's like you took a neutral grain spirit and you finished it in port, but that's not the case at all. You can tell that this is indeed a whiskey, but it's a very simple whiskey, not a very complex whiskey. The port really overtakes it in the Act 8. That's what sets it apart from the Act 11. The newest, as of a couple weeks ago, Act 11 is the newest one from Midwinter's Night Dram from High West. That one actually tastes like a rye whiskey. How strange and how different. Brandon, I hope you can try both of these side by side when you're here. Remind me. Act 11 drinks like a rye whiskey, but a finished rye whiskey, and finished in the best ways. Like I said, those port casks just really amplify the rye. Same with PX casks. They always do that for me. I actually prefer Act 11. I prefer the new batch of a Midwinter's Night Dram compared to the old one. Now, I've heard controversy. Someone might dislike that. I think the old one's good. I do like that port flavor profile, but I want to taste my whiskey underneath. I want to taste that rye whiskey underneath, especially when it's good rye whiskey. So actually, now that we've done all of these, let's see. Midwinter's Night Dram, I preferred the new one. Bernheim, I preferred the previous one. And Remus, I preferred the new one. So there's not a general consensus here. You know, people always say like, oh, is whiskey getting worse or better or whatever? It depends. I mean, each batch is different. That's kind of the point of the stream, right? I'm comparing the newest one to the previous batch. And for the most part, the new batches hold up. My Bernheim is an outlier because it might just be an off sample. I don't know. Let me know. Come back to this video and let me know what other people are saying. But yeah. Wow. Okay. I'm very, very intrigued to find out more about the Bernheim. The rest, very, very happy with. If you guys get a chance to try it, try all of them. As Lil says, taste is subjective. Chris says in the after party, Cliffy will get down to the nitty gritty on the closure of PTVS. I don't know what that means. Sounds like something controversial. I'll save it for the after party. Again, join us on Patreon to get access to our after party hangout. Join us tomorrow for the movie night, which is also a Patreon exclusive. As you guys know, I do Patreon stuff for the community aspect. A lot of people do like perks and like giveaways and gifts and stuff. That's all great, but I love the community that we have here. I love sharing experiences with you all, whether it's an after party hangout or a movie night. That's what I'm all about. So if you guys want to get in on that, join now. Let me know. We'll get you into the after party and the movie night. But until next time, cheers all. I will see you. I won't be live next week. Like I said, I'm going to Whiskey and Barrel Night here in LA. But cheers. I will see you very, very soon. Look forward to more fun streams coming up. We do have a couple. Okay, when I go to these Whiskey and Barrel Nights and I go to whiskey events, I tend to meet some interesting people. And I might get a little Cliffy and might offer them my card. And I may or may not have them on the stream in the following week. So stay tuned. Make sure to subscribe. Hit the thumbs up on your way out. And until next time, this has been Bourbon Bites. Cheers. I will see you next month, I guess, because I'm not going to be live next week. All right, bye.